Hi guys, I'm going to go through some of the writing that the students did for task 1. It was a process diagram. Each student did a different process diagram, so yeah, I'll go through all the mistakes I found or parts that are good, and I'll give a score at the end. Okay, I'll give you my breakdown of the score too. So this is Kim's writing here. Let's have a look. Okay, so we got what looks like the process diagram of bees making honey. So the introductory paragraph is good. The diagram illustrates the natural process involved in the production of honey by bees. That's good. This adjective here, natural, that's nice to include. I made this line green because, yeah, it's just a good introduction. Kim used the word overall, which is perfect. That is what your first paragraph should start with. Yeah, so I just gave you some other ones here because most students will use the word overall, but you could say in general, or for the most part, if you want to be a little bit different and have different vocabulary there. The cyclical process consists of 7 stages. That's really good. Okay, I'm going to make that green. That's a really good sentence. The cyclical, you will get points for that type of vocabulary because it's relevant to this topic. Beginning with preparing the hive and ending with producing and harvesting honey. Yeah, I gave like a different version just to show grammar flexibility. You'll get points for that because we use preparing the hive and ending with producing and harvesting. Could have said and ending with the production and harvesting of honey. Just a little bit different. Have some grammar flexibility there. Okay, initially there is your her sequencing word, which is good. Initially the bees build a hive where the honey is produced and stored. After this, the worker bees leave their house. There could have been a bit of more relevant word used there. Use the hive, but you don't want to say hive all the time. So I understand what the student was doing here. They were trying to show a synonym for hive. Yeah, just could have been a little bit better, I guess. The nectar is afterwards, another sequencing word, that's good. Transfer to individual cells. Here's another word. It could use cells or honeycombs. Okay, that's good. In the following stage, bees fan their wings to evaporate water. This step is important because it helps thicken the nectar into honey. I didn't know that. And then finally, the concentrated honey is preserved within the cells. And yeah, preserved, that's good. That's also topic relevant vocabulary. You get points for that. Within the cells and ready to be harvested and consumed. I wrote here ready for distribution to markets and consumers. It's just a little bit more descriptive of what the actual process diagram is doing here. Now, one big thing, okay, so what the student did well here, they used sequencing words, they used relevant vocabulary, could have been a little bit varied. The grammar structures were pretty good. This is understandable. Yeah, so it's a pretty good essay. So for task achievement, I'll probably get like, I'm trying to think, there's not much that they missed. I'll give it an 8. Cohesion and coherence, this is really good. I'll give another 8. Lexical resourcing. There are a few more words that I think that they could have explored that would have been directly related to this topic. I give a 7. And what's the last one? Grammar structures, also a 7. So yeah, this is a solid like 7.5. It could have been an 8. Yeah, it's a 7.5 essay. Maybe. Oh, sorry. I just put the scores down here. Where are they? Should come up now. Why is it not? Okay, there's a bit of a delay here. Oh, let me work on this one. Okay. Okay, yeah, but it's a general, it's like a 7.5 essay. Well done. 7.5 to 8. I could have given an 8, I guess. Okay, let's go to Magnet. Here's her essay. The diagram shows the delivery life cycle generally around the world. Okay, this is delivery process infographic. Okay, so from number 1, we look at the first stage. That's important. Order, pay, staff check, packing. Now, what you must remember is you have 3 body paragraphs and you need to, 2 or 3, you need to try and organize the same theme or idea in each body paragraph. Again, this is important for task 2 writing. So that's something I'm looking for. That's something assessors will look for. That's where you'll get your cohesion and coherence score. You'll get a good score there. The diagram, that's correct. This is a diagram. Okay. Shows the delivery life. It's not really a life cycle. Yeah. A life cycle is more like animals or humans or something to do with nature. So that's a mistake generally around the world. That's it. It's inaccurate. So here, I'll just put a space here. So you detail what the diagram is, and then some students will have the detail what the diagram is, and then your overview will be like, you can have it here next to it, or you can have it as its own paragraph. But yeah, always start with overall or in general. Yeah. So you would do that. Okay, so this is important. You need to detail like overall, in general, for the most part, what we can see is, okay. Involves 3 main stages. So when I see the 3 main stages, I see buying or ordering, purchasing, and delivery. So I'm hoping to see that in the 3 paragraphs. Yeah, ordering, delivery, and ordering, purchasing, and delivery. I want to see that. Yeah, so the goods are ordered by customers, then it is packed by staff. Yeah, so ordering and purchasing, packed and delivered. Okay, that's good. Okay, so here, this is just, the process is started by the product is ordered. The process is started when the product is ordered, yeah? Or once. The process is started once the product is ordered. Why is it giving me that? Okay, so that's a bit better. I'm just gonna make it pink because I'm making it pink because I changed it. The product is ordered via online shopping. See here, could be via an online shopping app or platform. Again, you get vocabulary points for that, lexical resource points for that when you detail just a little bit more. Online shopping, I just wanted a little bit more detail there, which is usually occurred at website. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. That's kind of what I was saying. But just here, grammar structure. This needs to be reviewed. There's a mistake there. Which usually occurs through a website or a mobile app. In order to order a purchase, the online user has to access into their virtual account. Grammar structure, just a few mistakes there. To order or to make a purchase, yeah? In order to make a purchase, online users have to access their virtual accounts, or it's not a virtual account, you could just say account. Okay, so in order to make a purchase, users have to access their account or gain access to their account. Select things they would like to own, select things they would like to buy or purchase. Would like to own, yeah, and then make payment with their card. Okay, so yeah, so that's good. That structure, cohesion, and coherence, the content that's in there is all in the right theme. It's all relevant to itself. After finishing payment, the system sends, sorry, I'm making it pink because there was a little mistake there. The system sends the order information to the staff whose responsibility it is to verify and continue packing the goods to be ready for delivery. That's not bad. It's pretty good. It can be improved, but it's good. Lastly, the shipping vendor. Okay, so just prepositions, just small details. Is charged of delivery. I don't know what that means. Is charged, is tasked. Yeah, is not charged, is tasked with. is tasked with the delivery of, okay, it's gonna give me, okay. Okay, now a big thing is, for these essays, let's just check Kim's also. They have to be 150 words, yeah? Tools, word count, 136 words. Okay, so you lose, like, you're gonna lose task achievement score if you do that. And that's a silly way to lose a point. The assessors will notice immediately, like this one I can see is short. Yeah, 128. Wait, it says 120. Let me check something. 128 of 42 words. 128 of 142. What does that mean? Oh, excluding spaces. Yeah, you got to make sure that you get the right word count, guys. Like, that is the first thing you need to do. What's missing here from Magnet's essay also is, I don't know if you noticed, there are not enough sequencing words. You need about 7-8 sequencing words. Okay, firstly, secondly, next, then. I also gave you that really nice sequencing word, which is subsequently. Subsequently, which I wanted you to use. Okay, it's a nice word that you can use for task 1 and task 2. It's just a high level word. That's a good word. Okay, so try use that. It works for sequencing, and you can, it helps with the flow in task 2. So not enough sequencing words, not enough words. The task achievement score goes down here. I'm going to be generous when I give a 7 here. Cohesion and coherence, yeah, it's about a 7. It's organized. It's pretty good. Lexical resourcing, there were a few mistakes. It's between a 6 and a 7. I wanted just a few more words that were relevant to this essay. I'm trying to think of what it could be, like payment, goods are ordered, yeah, like platform, app gateway, mobile app gateway, yeah, I'll give a 7. Okay, and grammar. Unfortunately, grammar, there's not enough flexibility. There are a few mistakes with the grammar structures here. Small mistakes. This is where checking your work becomes important too. So go back and check, read each sentence. It doesn't take long. You need to practice this, practice doing it fast. It will get faster the more you practice, but it's very clear when an essay, it's very clear for me to see an essay that hasn't been checked or hasn't been edited. It's crucial. We spoke about planning your essay. We spoke about using the right words for your essay, being on topic, and checking your essay. Okay, so yeah, planning, on topic, structuring, and checking. Those are the most important things that can guarantee a good score. If you don't do one of those things, you're likely to lose points for your score. Okay, so it's a 6, but you still get a 7 for this essay, Magnet. Hold on. Okay. Now, okay, so this is important, guys, for all your essays. Keep a space. Yeah, you don't have to indent. Oops. You don't have to like indent like this. That's generally left for like a novel when you have a lot of paragraphs and that. So no need to do that. Just make sure there's a full space between your essays. That becomes quite important if you're handwriting essays. I've seen essays that have been handwritten. It's just really hard sometimes for the assessor to see where the actual line break is, where the next idea starts. Okay, so I tasked the students, they didn't have to have an actual image. I just wanted them to kind of come up with something to write on their own, with the focus on sequencing words and structuring their essays. Okay, so use your imagination bit. This diagram illustrates the process of making a tiramisu cake. It contains 3 main parts, which are preparing ingredients, cooking, and decorating the cake. Which include preparing. Yeah, you could have just said preparing or preparation. That's good though. That's fine. You're not going to lose points there. Cooking and decorating. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, first, nice sequencing word. That's good. Way to start. First, we have 4 eggs, 450 grams mascarpone, 80 grams sugar. You can divide into two parts. One's for eggs whites and the other's for 1 pack of lady fingers. Lady fingers, they are delicious. Every tiramisu cake has them. A cup of coffee. And here, 10. When you have your final noun or idea in a list, you need to have and, yeah? Just remember that. You can list, and finally. Okay, I like tigers, monkeys, gorillas, and lions. Okay, just remember that one. It's a simple thing. Again, if you need to, go back and read your work. If you do not want to have a... okay, here it's like direct speech. If you do not want your cake to have a little bit, to prevent, like you can write, remember this is an academic essay. So if you do not want your cake to have a, if you want to prevent, I'm gonna write it here. If you want to prevent your cake from, okay. But you can say if you want to prevent a cake or to prevent your cake. That's actually better. Don't say like if you want to. That sounds like a little bit too direct speech, a little bit too casual, informal. You can add some drops of lemon. In addition, that's nice. You have to make, in addition, you don't have to say you have to make sure, or in addition, ensure. That sounds better too. Ensure that the egg yolk, okay. And the whites are separated in 2 different bowls. Okay, that's good. Secondly, nice sequencing words. This is good. See here, this is repetition. This is repetition on the first step. Secondly, it's a little bit confusing. And here we will move to the cooking step. It's redundant. It's a little bit strange to read. Secondly, the cooking step involves, okay, whisking the egg yolks while putting in the sugar. That's good. Okay, so just be careful here. Until the liquid turns yellow, the mascarpone is added. Once the liquid turns bright yellow, the mascarpone is added, yeah? So just have a look there. Small edits. Yeah, again, you don't say you need. This is a simple mistake. Take out you, or like, it's in general, it's not speaking to you, it's just giving you directions, okay? Make that red, oops. After following all the steps, here again, you take it out. So it would read, after following all the steps, whisk again while, yeah? So that also should come out. Just little details, it's just editing. Be careful because you can lose points for grammar. You could lose points for lexical resourcing here with simple things like this, okay? Check your details, always make sure there's a space. With the egg whites until we go. This is a weird sort of run-on sentence, something's wrong here. With the egg whites until it needs to be connected somewhere at this time, at this moment. Time, not bad, moment maybe better. At this time, during this moment, it's a little bit nicer. Okay, some things will just be preference that I prefer. So just, I mean, you can choose to use it or not. You can have a little to mixture and blend eggs. Well, see there's good like topic relevant vocab here. Blend, mix. That's good. Finally, we can start finally we decorate the, finally, see here again, finally we can start to decorate the cake. Finally the cake is decorated. Finally the cake is, okay, so just check your form of speech there. Here again, you have to put one left finger, then a left, continue boil until. Okay, I'm just checking for how well this is organized. Yeah, so it's like blending, cooking, decorating. Okay, that's good. preparing ingredients, cooking, decorating. Okay, that's good. So cohesion and coherence, a fairly good score. Let me have a look. Yeah, see again, this last sentence I wouldn't really have written that way. After finishing all these steps, you will have the perfect. Be careful, like sometimes it does work to have like a nice, after the tiramisu can be enjoyed, the perfect tiramisu cake can be enjoyed, but be careful doing that. I would avoid it because it can go into informal language, or like rather not. Afterwards the cake is finished, ready to be eaten or served. Okay, just keep it a little bit more formal, it's safer. So task achievement, it's very detailed. There's enough words. I mean, the word count is good enough. You can clearly see there's 150 words at least here. Yeah, I mean, I can read this and I would know what to do. Yeah, I'll give it an 8. Cohesion and coherence, an 8. But here is where the scores fall a bit. Lexical resourcing. Yeah, I see. So like lexical research, there were the right topic related words, but because we're using the wrong form of speech, that goes into lexical resourcing and it goes into grammar. If I give a 7, I'm being generous. If I give a 6, I'm being harsh. So for lexical resourcing, I'll be generous, but for grammar, I'm going to be a little more harsh. Okay, so what is that score? 8, 8, 7. That's about a 7. Okay, it's lucky because it should be a 6. This is yeah, it's a 6.5, a generous 7. Okay, nice. Let's see, what have you done here, Chong-Ein? When we did this exercise, I showed to the students to try find like one word that you would use for each paragraph, and that becomes your topic sentence. This is a good exercise also for task 2 writing. And when you're planning, you're looking for that one word. So if there are 3 stages, you have body paragraph 1, 2, and 3, you know what the word is that you will use for each one. And that helps with the writing. It will make everything kind of flow and clear after that. It'll make it easier for the assessor to understand. You'll also get lexical resourcing points because you have that word already, that relevant topic word. Okay, so Chong-Ein did this really well. So the topic is how to code a website. Analyze, code, deploy. Perfect. Like that's simple structure, yeah. So I like that. Okay, so intro. Okay, so his essay starts here. Again, just make sure there's a space between paragraphs. Okay, that's standard. See, like here, look here. Even when I'm reading this, I'm not sure, is that a paragraph? So this can become a problem even if you're typing it up, yeah. It's especially a problem if you're writing, but it can be a problem here if you're typing, like, is that, is this maybe one paragraph? But yeah. Okay, the diagram illustrates the process of building a website, which can be divided into 3 main stages. Like, you'll see the other students kind of detailed what that is, which can be divided into 3 main parts, including preparing, cooking, and decorating. It generally is better to do this, to say what they are. Chong-Ein hasn't done that, but he's clearly, like, each topic sentence is so clear here, like what it is. He kind of gets away with it. Okay, so also don't put a space here, bud. Okay, so no spaces, just oops. So the final stage is employment. Like, those are all really good topic sentences. It just, when you're reading it, you know what that paragraph is about, and it's clear. It's easy to understand, and that's your job, is to make the process diagram as easy to understand for the person reading it. Keep this in mind for task 2 also. That is the whole job. Make it easy to understand. The easier it is to understand, the better your task achievement score goes up and your cohesion and coherence. Okay. Okay, the first, you need to analyze the requirements. This stage includes finding the problem and planning the solution. You could have joined these sentences here. First, you need to analyze the requirements by finding the problems and planning the solutions thereof. Okay, you could have joined that sentence, would have made it a bit more academic. Initially, business analysts, analytical members talk to the customer to gain the information, to gather information, or to garner information. I'm going to put here to gather. Take out the. After that, the information is translated into technical requirements so that the developer can have the concept about what the here can have the concept, can have a clear concept, can have a clear idea, clear concept, clear notion. Once the analysis is complete, the next stage is the actual coding process. Yeah, the website project includes two main parts, which are front end and back end. Good. Topic vocabulary here: front end and back end. Websites. Nice. You get points. In the back end, they solve the business logic and algorithm, while the business logic and algorithm what? The business and algorithm problems, requirements, while also connecting this part to data storage so the data can be transferred back and forth. Between what? Back and forth? You know, like back and forth between what? Between the front end and the back end? You need to detail that, okay. Then the user interface is built in the front end, which is responsible for interacting with the user and bringing their request back. Like bringing their request back. Just like make it a little bit clearer. I'm a little bit unclear as to what you mean there. Next, the testers try find as many bugs as they can in the local environment. Yeah. A local environment, that's good because that's topic relevant vocab. But remember, like someone reading this might not understand what that is. So you could detail what the local environment is. Yeah. The bug list. The bug list after there. Okay, just grammar. Afterwards, the bug list is solved by the developers. A nice word you could have used here, like, is troubleshooted or troubleshoot. Yeah. I think you know this word. Chongain, so it's a pity you didn't use it. It's difficult with topic relevant vocab, like you never know when's enough. So you're never going to know when you're going to get your lexical resource and score. So you need to have the relevant vocab, you need to have the sequencing words, but always just try and include as much as you know. Like, yeah, it's hard to explain. Like, I mean, you could have troubleshoot. There's a few, I'm sure you could keep adding and adding, but like I said, you're never going to know when it's enough, but just do your best to add as many words as you can that are relevant to this specific topic. The final stage is deployment, where the completed project is launched and tested in a real environment. The development team will rent a domain. Yes, rent a domain before deploying the project onto it. Before deploying the project to it. You deploy something to, I think it's a bit better. Very nice. The only one that used the word subsequently. Well done, buddy. I'm gonna make that purple. That's excellent. Occur. Subsequently, the customer can use the website and the dev team will be back to support problems that happen in the future. We'll be at the back. We'll be in the background. We'll be on call. We'll be on support. Yeah, just there could be a better way to phrase that. To support, and here to support problems that happen in the future. Potential problems. Just a nice adjective there. Just to detail a little bit better. Maybe they build the best website and there are no problems. Very unlikely. Okay. This is an excellent essay, man. Well done. So you can see there's clearly the right word count. 230. It's maybe a bit too much, but it's fine. Rather too much than too little. As long as you have time to complete. So task achievement, yeah, well done. I want to give a 9. I'm going to give a 9. Cohesion and coherence, also really good. I'm going to give a 9. Lexical resourcing, not bad. There's enough sequencing words. Remember, the golden rule is about 7-8 sequencing words. I think that's about the right amount. You got subsequently, very nice. I'm going to give you an 8. And for grammar, only a few mistakes. Like, you could have used a little bit more grammar flexibility. There's perhaps too much continuous form used here before deploying. But yeah, it's pretty high level for the most part. I'm going to give you an 8. Nice. The high score, 8.5. Very well done, Jermaine. It's a great essay. Okay. Let's go through Marie Holmes' essay here again. Just remember your paragraph spaces. You see now there's only 3 paragraphs. And here I can clearly see word count. Like here. It jumps out close, actually. 139. It's not bad. You actually want, if you're within like 10 words of 150, you shouldn't lose, but always aim for, try to write 170 words. Okay. It's easy to add a few more words, to change a sentence structure, just to include a few more words. Okay. Diagram illustrates the process of paper production and recycling, which involves 2 chains of stages. Feels like there should be a semicolon here. Oops. Generating paper and recovering newspaper. Generating paper. This is quite a hard one because I'm looking at that. Yeah, there's 2 chains of stages. That's correct. I like that. What you need to do here is when you get the number, don't put the number as a digit. Put it write it out. Oops, write it out. Okay. Generating paper and recovering newspaper. So recovering newspaper is, that sounds like recycling. So where's 1? Fuel. Okay, that goes in there. 4, 5, 6. Burning newspaper, collecting. Yeah, so see there, an important one there, step 8, it says collecting used newspapers. That's recycling. So if you make a few mistakes or you're missing something, technically you weren't wrong here, but the more accurate you can be, the better your chance of a good score. Okay. So just keep that in mind. If you make too many of those mistakes, you'll start losing task achievement score and potentially lexical resourcing. It's initially, gosh, this one I'm guessing you would start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be your body paragraph 1, and then 6, 7, or 7, 8, 9, 10, your body paragraph 2. Okay, let's see. Initially, wood is manufactured on paper. Okay, paper is manufactured through wood. Okay, initially paper is produced. Let me just check. Oh no, sorry, I can't see my keyboard. Is produced or manufactured through. Okay, so just detail there. The key ingredient is the trunk, which is felled. That's nice to move. Is felled and then moved. That's a nice word. That's topic relevant. You fell a tree and then move to the factory. You could say move and then move to the factory, or you could say transported. Yeah. So just it's just little details, like move to the factory. That's a 7 vocab word. Transported is a 9. The hard brown bark around the trunk is removed by the drum. By the drum or by a drum. Yeah. to have only the core trunk remain. Detail, yeah. Next, the wood is moved to the chipper and the product. So here you could have just written this a little bit better. So again, it's not bad because it's just said like next the wood is moved to the chipper next the wood is moved to the chipper where it goes through the process and wood chippings come out, or wood chippings are created. A little bit more detail you could have added in there. After that, the refiner works to pulp this powder before pressing it onto the paper. Before pressing it into paper, yeah? Because it's making paper, so the paper is not there yet. It has to press it into paper. To finish producing paper, they are rolled. Yeah, this could have just been written a little bit nicer. The final stage in paper production is when it is rolled, or is when it is put in a roll. Yeah? Okay. Could have just structured that sentence a little bit better. Subsequently, paper is used and recycled. You can start a topic sentence with subsequently, or you can start a paragraph with a topic sentence subsequently, but this is better to use within in the middle of your body paragraph, generally speaking. So like another way of saying this would be like an alternative way to make paper is through recycled. Yeah, it's through already used paper, which is recycling. Okay. Rolling paper is printed in the newspaper. They are sold and collected again. Rolling paper, be careful. That is like quite specific. Like rolling paper is a type of thing. You could just say paper. Yeah, it's printed onto newspaper and other formats, which is sold, and the waste, again, just detail, which is sold, and the used paper or the waste product is collected. The equipment will separate ink from the mixture afterwards. I didn't know that actually happens. I didn't know they were separated the ink. That's quite interesting. I thought they just dyed the paper. Okay, then the chipping is pulped again, and the press, is it chipped again? Not really, yeah. That's a little bit inaccurate. So it separates the ink, then it gets pulped. Yeah. Once the ink's been separated from the paper, it goes into the pulp machine and it gets pressed to become rolling paper finally. To finally become rolling paper. Just check your grammar structure there. Not bad. Okay, you can see from a lot of these essays there was just some detail, yeah? Some detail that you need to add. Don't assume the person reading it understands the whole process. Imagine that this is the first time they're reading it, or yeah, the first time that they've ever heard about what you're telling them. So try not to skip anything. I just want to check the word count again. Tools, word count. Oh, 151 or 160. Yeah, 151. Very good. Just on. Now, the only thing I did forget to mention here is the diagram. It's nice to have like the overall in general. Yeah. Be careful. Like I've seen students, while this isn't technically wrong, you can get into trouble with this. So just have what you see in the diagram, and then overall, these are the stages. Okay. Yeah, good. There's a lot of good topic relevant vocab here. Be careful, like these kind of things, you could lose your task achievement. There was a little bit of task achievement problem where you would lose score in task achievement where, it wasn't quite clear that there was recycled paper. Well, it is, I guess. But it's just more that this topic sentence, there was just a little bit of confusion there. But it wasn't terrible. I mean, I did kind of understand for the most part. So task achievement, yeah, it's an 8. Cohesion and coherence, yeah. I'm gonna give a 7. I'm being a bit harsh, but yeah. Lexical resourcing. Lexical resourcing is good. I'll give a 7. And grammar. Actually, lexical resourcing, I'm gonna give an 8. You've got the right sequencing words. They were just, and then just grammar. Grammar let you down just a little bit. Okay, there were just a few grammatical mistakes. So yeah, not bad. Good score. 7.5. Okay, thanks guys. That's all the essays for today. If you have any questions, the students or anyone else watching, just put some comments. I will try to reply to it. I hope this makes sense. This is how I scored. This is how most assessors would score, I guess. But it's just a bit different. I'm using color and stuff to make it easier to understand, okay? So yeah, if it's pink, it just means like I'm giving you an alternative phrase. Think about it. If it's green, it means it's good. If it's orange, it means just review. There is something you need to change, refine. If it's red, it means, yeah, there's, I think, a mistake there. All right, thanks guys.